I don't know about you, but that looked like money.
Hey everybody, welcome back. You know, when we think about vintage football cards from the 40s and 50s, specifically the rookie cards of the quarterbacks of that era, most of us probably think of the 48 Leaf Sammy Baugh, the 50 Bowman Y.A. Tittle and Otto Graham, and the 57 Topps Johnny Unitas and Bart Starr. And that makes a lot of sense. Those guys are arguably the most iconic quarterbacks of that era. In my last video, I talked about the 51 Bowman football set and how great it is and all that good stuff and how much I love it. And I also focused on a card of a player that I think gets overlooked a lot more than he should. And if you watch the video, you know I'm talking about the Dutchman, Norm Van Brocklin. His rookie card's in that 51 Bowman set and is one of the better looking cards in it. I'd argue that that card is one of the best looking cards of the decade, honestly. But that's more personal taste than anything, so we're not even going to dive into that debate. What I do want to talk about with these Limelight videos that I'm doing, I want to focus in on cards of Hall of Famers, vintage Hall of Famers, especially those who aren't as well known or aren't talked about very much. And today we're going to go with Norm Van Brocklin. Let's take a bird's eye view of the cardboard that he has. It's not a lot, but you'll quickly find out that putting together a player run for him is achievable and relatively affordable. Let's go. Norm Van Brocklin, he only has 8 regular issue cards, and I honestly don't think he has any regional issues that I could find. But his 8 regular issue cards span from 1951 through 1957. As mentioned before, his first card is in the 51 Bowman set. Fun fact, he won the NFL passing title in 1950 and 1952, even though he wasn't a full-time quarterback. Hall of Famer Bob Waterfield was still on that team, and they split duties. So kind of a fun fact that I recently learned about. Back to his cards, his 52 Bowman Large is card number 1, and it's known for being scarce. It is a short print, and it's condition sensitive. Being the first card in the set, those cards are commonly found with corner and edge wear, and rubber band marks can also be seen. If you stick around for later in the video, I'll show you my 52 Bowman Large, and it's got what appears to be a rubber band mark on it, so you can see what I mean. So he only has cards from 51 through 57, but he played through 1960. He played 3 seasons with the Eagles, but he doesn't have a single card depicting him as an Eagle. However, if you look at the 59 Topps Eagles team card, he is in there. Just look for number 11. The same can be said for his 1960 and 61 team cards as well, from Topps. What's funny is he's in the same spot on each of those cards. So if you look at the 59 Topps card, where he's at there, he's in pretty much the same spot on the other 2 as well. Kind of funny. So that's pretty much it for Norm Van Brocklin cardboard. Like I said, he only has 8 cards, and there's really not much to expand on with those. But most collectors this day and age are rookie card focused. So we're going to take a quick look at the Pop Report data for his 51 Bowman rookie card. As you can see, there are less than 1,000 PSA and SGC graded copies of this card combined. Pretty crazy to think about that there's only 1,000 of these between SGC and PSA that have been graded. Ironically, you can get a nice copy of this card for about $150 or so. A PSA 3, 3.5. Most of the grade pop, as you can see, at least for PSA, falls in the PSA 3 to PSA 6 range, which is pretty common for cards of this era. Nothing too outlandish there. But if you are on the hunt for one, there are some issues with this card, and we're going to take a look at those now. A lot of the cards from the 40s and 50s have centering issues. It's not, crazy to say that most cards from that era are off center. 51 Bowman's no different. When I was shopping for my Van Brocklin rookie, I noticed that a lot of the ones that were for sale were off center quite a bit, 65-35 or worse. My goal was to find one that was 55-45, somewhere in that range, something that you don't see very often. But that's what I was focused on. Had to have great eye appeal, and it had to be centered. And it was challenging. The other thing that I want to point out with this card is that there are printing errors, kind of weird ones, that I see with it a lot. If you look on the upper right of the image, I've got two Van Brocklin cards with circles on the upper right and the lower left. In those areas, there's like weird, they're not even fisheyes, they're just like print defects. And I see them all the time. When I first started shopping for this card, I thought, the first time I saw it, it looked like somebody had used a marker or something and put little marks on it. That's what it looks like. But there's a lot of them out there that have these defects. And unfortunately, they show up pretty prominently on that blue background. So your eye can get distracted depending on how easy they are to see. But they're there, something to keep in mind. The two images on the bottom, I wanted to show what looked like roller marks that can be found on this issue as well. I zoomed in on the card on the bottom left to show you what I mean. They look like roller marks, the card coming off the press. They're in the same spot every time. One goes through his chin and the other one through the logo on his sleeve. And they go almost all the way across the card. What's funny is there's another rookie card in the 51 Bowman set, the Emlyn Tunnell, has the same issue. The roller mark goes right through the center of the card. So that's another one you have to keep an eye on this issue with as well. And ironically enough, the 51 Bowman baseball Whitey Ford has this exact same issue. So it seems like maybe the printer that they were using, or however they rolled these things out, it looked like it was a common occurrence for this to happen. Not sure how it happened. Not an expert in that by any means, but it's a common flaw that's out there. Some people don't care. I do. I didn't want that on the card I bought, so mine doesn't have one. You probably never thought you'd listen to a Norm Van Brocklin card video, but here you go. You have one. I hope you found the info somewhat useful and maybe interesting. If you stuck with me for this long, you're going to be rewarded with a look at my Norm Van Brocklin cards that are in my collection. So if you're still here, hang tight and enjoy the show. So here are some of the Norm Van Brocklin cards I have in my collection. I don't have them all. I am working on a Van Brocklin run, but I'm missing, I think, 3 cards. The 54 and 55 Bowman and the 56 Tops, I think. But anyway, I don't have them all, but I'm working on it. So here is my 51 Bowman Van Brocklin rookie. It's graded a 2. You'll notice if you keep watching my videos and see the cards that I have, I am all about eye appeal. And this one's a 2. It deserves to be a 2. There's a surface crease that goes right along here. hard to pick up, but it's there. But you really kind of have to look for it. And I love cards like this because they present much higher than their grade. This also has a mark qualifier, and I have looked all over this card and still have not found the mark on the back. Or maybe it's the front, I don't know, but I have not found it. But yeah, anyway, this is my Van Brocklin rookie. Very happy with it. I'll probably upgrade it at some point, but for now, it does the job. Happy to have it. And this is my 52 Bowman Small. Card number 1 in this set. Card number 1s are traditionally condition sensitive. This is no different. Not the greatest looking card, but for a 3 and for the price I paid for it, I'm not going to complain. And then we have the really tough 52 Bowman Large. Again, card number 1, condition sensitive. And I mentioned earlier that part of the condition sensitivity with these are rubber band marks sometimes. And you can see one right there on this card. Looks like some sort of rubber band or something was wrapped around this at one time, and you know, over time it stained it. I don't know, it kind of adds to the story of the card, I guess, a little bit. Doesn't bother me at all. It's well centered for a 52 large, and these are short prints. Next up is the 53 Bowman. Another tough card to find with decent centering. This one isn't too bad. It's an old PSA 3.5. I just love old Bowman football. Something about it. Not this set though. This set's kind of fugly, honestly. The whole white football nameplate is terrible. Reminds me of 1980 Topps football, which is probably the ugliest set ever made. But I think the idea behind the white football nameplate was they were using a white football in night games back then, and maybe they were trying to promote it on their card. I have no idea, but it's as good of an excuse as any for making such a ugly card. And the last one I have is his 56 Topps. This is an 8, which is crazy that you can get a 56 Topps and an 8 for, you know, not very much money for a Hall of Fame QB. Again, vintage football is, I don't know, it's either underpriced or vintage baseball is overpriced. But I love 50s football and 60s. This card's cool. That red just pops, and it's one of the nicer sets of the 50s. 56 Topps is pretty neat. The white outline of the player and the team logo, and then the nameplate in the middle, and stats on the back, which I love, and a little bit of bio. So yeah, there you have it. These are my Norm Van Brocklins that I have. He doesn't have many cards, only 8. So doing a player run on this guy is not difficult to do, and especially when you can pick up a rookie for about, I don't know, a decent copy for about 150 bucks. You know, that's, to me, that's a bit of a steal. You know, one of the greatest QBs of all time still holds a record that he set back in 1951, the most passing yards in a game. It's crazy that hasn't been broken. All right, so thanks for hanging in there with this video. I know I tend to ramble on. Not sure what the next video is going to be, but it'll be coming soon. Thanks again, and have a good one.